We are deviating from examiner and femto-based procedures to ICL. No financial interest. I'm just happy with this material. Whenever we tell ICL for low to moderate myopia, especially among the non-refractive surgeons, lot many doubt come. Is it safe, reliable? What about the complications? What if cataract happens? What about the endothelial loss? How many cases you have done? What's the explant rate? And what happens to IOP? And this is not done by majority of the refractive surgeons himself because they are under the impression that cataract might happen or glaucoma might happen. And there are also lack of studies with us or across globally to tell the efficacy of this ICL in low to moderate myopias. But last 4 years, in my experience, I have done almost around 1,500 cases, and to be frank enough, I can tell you that with no complications, with the availability of central flow technology, not even a single patient had a single spike of IOP rise. That was the amount of good surgery we have done. And based upon this, I would like to conclude that ICL is first among equals, that especially the Collamer ICL. And I offer to this patient as a primary procedure if the patient's pupil size is bigger than 4.5 or 4.8, where I don't want to do a examiner based procedure. If a patient comes to me with a thinner cornea with no evidence of keratoconus, I offer them. And there are some patients who are very keen about complications and they ask for reversible procedures. Yes, ICL is offered, and being in a high volume center, we do get patients referred by word of mouth. Happy ICL patient, irrespective of the power, they come and ask for the ICL patient. Yes, it happens. And any early keratoconus patients, FFKC patients who have undergone C3R with stable refractive error, patients with moderate degree of dry eyes, yes, I offer this as a primary procedures. And if there is any evidence of ectasia or keratoconus in the family, is offered irrespective of the port, means it's in low to moderate, I offer it. And I also tell them the benefit of ICL, that there is no risk of IOL calculations when you become elderly person. No risk of regression as like in the LASIK, and we rule out all the flap related complications, and contrast is never affected with ICL patients. Risk of ectasia is never thought about, and dryness is not an issue. Based upon this, I would like to tell you in brief about the Vision ICL. The main requisite is required for us. FDA tells it should be more than 3 mm, but for clinical purposes, we take it more than 8 mm, and we should have a clear cornea, clear lens, and a stable fundus. The first beautiful thing about this material, the material itself, because highly water content, it's very soft, it's very gentle, and it's highly flexible material. And the most beautiful thing is it's highly uninflammable. The reason is the fibronectin, which is normally present within the antechamber of the human beings, just goes and coats the column. It makes as though the ICL is absent with the antechamber. That's why all ICL surgeons, we feel that post surgery you can never see a circumcorneal congestion or the minimal congestion post surgery also. It's so quiet within the eye. And since we are not touching the cornea remains virgin, there is no alteration of the aberrations, and prolate shape itself is very much required to have a very good quality of vision, and contrast is unaltered. And coming to the safety factor, it's a very simple procedure. Any topical phacosurgeon can do this procedure, and I always tell hardly the procedure takes around 1 minute. So risk of endothelial loss with good incisions, I think it's negligible. And as I mentioned, last 4 to 5 years, there is no incidence of cataract documented. And if you look into the literature search also, the incidence of cataract induced by ACL is less than 1%. And endothelial loss, I told causes could be many. It could be surgical factor or the toxin factor. In a well-equipped theater and a good surgical hand, even insignificant endothelial cell loss happens. If you come to the recovery time, microkeratome based procedures, yes, it takes around 16 to 18 hours. Patient will have pain, irritation, photophobia. Surface ablation, it goes until 2 to 3 days. Femtolasic or smile, 3 to 6 hours it nudges. But ICL patients, if you do not use even intracameral pylo intraoperatively, you just get absolutely quiet eye. The patients start feeling the vision the next hour itself. So patients are happy because they do enjoy the very good vision. Contrast and color is not affected. And no added investment. Already you have a cataract setup, and you can go ahead and do the surgery. And if at all, if any complications happens, it's easily manageable and it is reversible, and the results are not dependent upon the humidity or OT temperatures, just like examiner procedures. Because of all these advantages, this is the amount of ICLs which has been done worldwide. And workup remains just like how you work up for refractive surgery with history and the diffraction. Topography is very important. And initially, if at all, if you were to start ICL on low to moderate myopia, people try to select the patients whose AC depth is more than 3 and corneal diameter between 11 to 12. Do not go with the extremes until you master the procedure. And once you calculate the procedure, the company, they help you to select the procedures. Now this EVO lenses have been called as EVO plus lenses, where they have enhanced the diameter from 5.8 to 6.1. So the surgical procedure, you can just see, just fill in the visco, enter 2.8 incision, just fill in the visco, just go flex like knee, just insert it. And a thorough visco wash is very important. Since there is central flow, all the visco which is present beneath the ICL also flows out literally very well. Thorough visco wash, I think almost 30 seconds I spent timing in washing the viscose. Coming on to our results in low to moderate myopias, which I've done on 40 eyes, the mean spherical equivalent is around -3, and toric was preferred if the patient is having more than cylinder of -0.75. As I told, preferred between 11 to 12 mm corneal diameters, and AC depth was more than 3 in all these patients. And I could see patients do retain very good vision post surgery, retained 6/6, and I'm still follow up on the patients. No patient was put on anti-glaucoma medications, no significant endothelial cell loss, and all patients are keeping good. So to conclude, predictable visual outcomes, better contrast, safety profile compared to LASIK. So this can always be